Travel is extraordinary, and travel can actually shift mindsets. So for a typically underserved student, what can travel do for them? I talked to a few people, and it sounds like it gives them cultural competence. But what really is cultural competence? I set out for answers, and the first person I asked was Lisa Ratmansky.
I think it's a complex interplay of having an awareness of one's own home culture or cultures and understanding how others from many different situations and places in the world and religions and ethnicities and anything you can think of, geographies, how they may live their lives in ways that are similar, very different, and being comfortable in exploring those differences.
From my point of view and my personal experience, I totally agree. It is about exploring those differences, and it is about the awareness of the different types of cultures around the world, and maybe just write down the blog. But what does it feel like? What is it really like to be engulfed in a new culture?
When I was about 19, I took a trip to Europe, and that had a big influence because it was about a 3-month trip. It was before we had cell phones and internet and so forth. So I just remember flying into London, and it was a big city, and then when you were in the trains, when you got the trains to center city London, and I had no place to go, right? So you start looking on billboards like where to go to rent. And when you're young, you don't think about like repercussions or you're just much more brave. You don't know what's out there, so you just do it. Yeah. So I ran into like 3 Spanish people, and we hung out, and we all rented a room together in like this British flat. It was like, I would never do that now, but it was so much fun then, It's just like your world is so open.
It's true. Travel does open up new worlds. But that's the greatest thing about travel. You could travel right down the street and become culturally competent in a whole different realm of the world.
I think that awareness and that openness comes all over our everyday experience. You could be sitting next to a classmate who's from a place that you're not from and begin to grow as you learn about each other.
I remember a couple of years ago, I decided that I would take my College 101 class into the city for a cultural experience such as the one that you are talking about. Many of them had never ridden a train before, believe it or not. So we took the train from the Radnor station, we went into Philly, and the first thing we did when we got there was to have lunch at the Reading Terminal Market. And rather than have everyone eat at the same place and all together, I decided they could spread out and go explore throughout the market. And I think that was their first adventure into something culturally different from that to which they were accustomed, because those kinds of places don't exist.
The world is so interesting, all these different cultures. So anyway, I think that's what cultural competence is, an openness, I think, to different cultures and respect. That's how I would define it.
It comes from experience. Broadening your horizons, not being afraid to try new things. And that's what these typically underserved students are going through. They're not able to escape their environment, and they're not able to try new things. But to me and to many other people, that would do them a world of help. There are programs that can help change the environment of an underserved student. And there are study abroad programs at many schools. But all it takes is a 10-foot drive down the street and a little awareness, and you can grow substantially as a person.